Hello there, you guys. Welcome to another one of my live videos. And today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel, as always, it's a big news is coming out of the press. But before we get in all tonight, we'll go through today's results. Of course, Liverpool winning at home against Tottenham, by 2 goals to 1. Of course, as well. So it looks likely, Liverpool, have got a great chance now of winning the league. Of course, because they haven't won it, for nearly 3 decades. Of course, Liverpool won the game by 2 goals to 1, but I didn't actually watch the game. Also, we saw today, Chelsea winning away at Cardiff, to be quite honest here, as well. So the good thing is it was good that Manchester United, got back to winning ways against Watford, as well. Of course, to keep our top four ambitions alive, of course, as well. But we do know it's between Liverpool and Manchester City for the league, of course, as well. So it is going to be definitely one of them who's going to win the Premier League, of course, as well. If you had to choose, I hate both teams, but to be quite honest with you, if Liverpool to win the league, obviously, that would stop Manchester City, achieving the quadruple, because obviously City so far have obviously, won the Carabao Cup this season, they won the Carabao Cup last season, of course, they also won the Premier League, last season, as well, did Manchester City, of course, as well. So potentially, if out of the two, I'd rather Manchester City win it, that obviously, provides Manchester City, getting knocked out of the Champions League, of course, as well. And obviously, I don't want our treble, winning season, I don't want anyone to beat that, of course, because that was great, back in 1999, of course, as well. So yeah, so we'll get on to the breaking news now. Interesting news that's been coming out of the media today. I've just been reading up about it, of course, as well, because obviously we know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants about 3 or 4 signings at Manchester United this summer, of course, as well, because obviously we do need to change the club structure. Obviously, the most essential thing is that Manchester United, of course, get a director of football to come in, but reportedly we are going to get a spending spree of around over £200 million to spend this summer, of course, as well. And I do think if Manchester United, can, out of these remainder of these 7 games we've got left, if Manchester United can at least take 15 points from the remainder of these 7 games, I do believe, we can finish in the top 3, of course, as well. So it's good that actually Tottenham got beat today, because obviously, now Tottenham, are winless in 5 Premier League games, and obviously we are still level on points with Tottenham, of course, as well. I still know we've got games coming up, we've still got City to play at home, we've still got Chelsea and that to play at home, of course, as well. But I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can elevate this team forward, and he can get us to that commanding position where we do want to be. And obviously, it's a 3-year deal he's signed. He's now got the job permanently, of course, as well. So hopefully Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, can get us back up there challenging and winning trophies, of course, as well, because that's obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's expectation levels. But he's identified, he thinks, the key areas, where Manchester United, of course, need to strengthen up. But I do think we need someone young and ambitious on that right-hand side. And I think his priority, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is to recommend the right winner to come to Manchester United. He obviously is keen on bringing a full-back in. I think he wants to add depth. I think he wants to add depth in our midfield, of course, as well. Obviously we need a centre-back, but I don't think, that's obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority, because obviously, he's focusing on other areas of the squad, of course, as well. But obviously last summer, our priority, was to get a centre-back, and it's essential that we get the right players to Manchester United this summer, because we didn't spend out in January, we didn't spend much last summer, of course, well. So Solskjaer's still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, of course, and obviously he's looking to buy into our history, of course, as well. But it's been a good 3 months or so under him, so far, which is the most essential thing indeed. But yeah, big breaking news, that's been coming out of the press today. We'll get onto the topic of the development now. Is Manchester United are in for the shock transfer return for Crystal Palace's Wilfried Zaha, of course, as well. So we are linked with a shock transfer return for Wilfried Zaha. Wilfried Zaha, of course, I think is about 26 years of age. Obviously, you do remember him at Manchester United, of course, when he was younger. I think he did have a couple of years with Manchester United, did Wilfried Zaha. He actually never broke into the first team with Manchester United. Wilfried Zaha, he was here under David Moyes. I think he had a spell here, with Louis van Gaal as well. So I think he was at Old Trafford a couple of seasons. Was Wilfried Zaha, to be quite honest with you, as well. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, may be keen on reuniting, Wilfried Zaha, because don't forget, Wilfried Zaha, went on loan to Cardiff and that. I think he had a loan spell, with Crystal Palace and all that. He actually began his youth career with Crystal Palace. Obviously, we know now he's permanently at Crystal Palace. He's Wilfried Zaha. I think he signed permanently for them in 2015, to be quite honest with you, as well. But he did have a loan spell with Cardiff, where he played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Wilfried Zaha. But reportedly, his performances have been fantastic indeed. He can play as a forward. He can actually operate on both wings as well. So potentially, his performances for Crystal Palace have been very good. But he failed. He failed at Manchester United, in his 2 years with United. Of course, he failed. It was actually, Alex Ferguson's last signing, of course, as well. But reports are now saying that reportedly, reportedly he's rated at around £70 million. Is Wilfried Wilfred Zaha reportedly. It did say that Manchester United, you know, are linked with a cut price move soon, so it means Manchester United can get him on the cheap, of course, this summer, because I think Manchester United have got a clause in Wilfred Zaha's deal. I've got a clause in Wilfred Zaha's deal, which means Manchester United, I think we get a 25% profit. I think it did mention like we get around a 25% profit. Reportedly, you know, if you know, I think it did say basically, what did it say? Something like we get a 25% cut or something like that. It did say so. Reportedly. So reportedly, you know, I think Manchester United have got a clause in Wilfred Zaha's deal. So I think the clause means that Manchester United, you know, can get him for a reduced fee, you know, to be quite honest as well. So Man United have got a clause in Wilfred Zaha's deal, which potentially means, you know, we get 25% of the profit, you know, of what, you know, Palace, get from selling him, of course, as well. So reportedly, we get 25% of the profit, you know, of what Palace get from selling him, of course, as well. So we can get him in a cut price this summer. Reportedly, you know, Wilfred Zaha, of course, as well. So there has been a lot of talks, you know, about that going on in the media as well. So Man United are reportedly linked with a shock transfer return for Wilfred Zaha, but he's been in great form, you know, since he permanently signed for Palace back in 2015, of course, as well. He still remains he's in the contract now with Crystal Palace until 2023. Of course, is Wilfred Zaha as well. But we did have a couple of years out of him, but obviously he never broke into the first team as well. So he did fail as a Manchester United player, you know. But I think he was here from Manchester United from 2013 to 2015, or something like that. As well. So reportedly, we can get him for a reasonable fee in the summer. We can get him in a cut price move, reportedly, because reports do say, you know, we've got a clause in his deal, which means we get 25% of the profit. You know obviously, you know, what Palace get, you know, of selling him, of course, as well. So we can get him for a reasonable fee in the summer, and maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's keen on reuniting, you know, with Wilfred Zaha, you know, because obviously when Solskjaer was Crystal Palace manager, when Solskjaer was Cardiff manager, and that's basically when, you know, Wilfred Zaha was on loan at Crystal Palace. So Wilfred Zaha at Cardiff, sorry. So Wilfred Zaha has played under Solskjaer, you know, when Wilfred Zaha was on loan, you know, at Cardiff, of course, as well. So there has been a lot of talk, you know, going on about that today in the media. But he's a really good, dangerous forward. You know, he shows that attacking instinct. You know, he scores goals. He also provides a system as well. So do you think, you know, he'd make an impact, you know, if he was to make a return back to Manchester United, of course, Wilfred Zaha as well. You know, he's available. You know, we're linked with a cut price move for him. We'll get him on the cheap, you know, due to the clause, you know, that we've got in his deal as well. So we're going to get him on the cheap, of course, as well. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, has identified, you know, quite a few targets, you know, that he's interested in. Also, too, you know, we're linked with Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, of course, as well, another Crystal Palace player. He's a potential right back, as we all know. We need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side, of course. And I do think, you know, to be quite honest, you know, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think he's rated, if I'm right, at around £40 million, something like that. Is Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and I do think he'd be a good upgrade, you know, to Valencia and Ashley Young, of course, as well. He would be a good upgrade, you know, to be quite honest here, as well. Reportedly, you know, it's one of Jose Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, you know, prime targets. Is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's rated at around £40 million. You know, he only broke into the Crystal Palace first team last year, as well. You know, he made his senior debut in February of last year. So far, I think he's made about 34 appearances for Crystal Palace, of course. Well, but I do think a player like him, you know, he has got the ability, you know, to elevate Manchester United in the next 2 to 3 years, of course. And I think his defensive capabilities are very good. Is he still under contract with Palace, if I'm right, until 2022 as well? You know, if I'm correct. Sorry, guys, it's going to go off. He's still under contract with Crystal Palace, I think, until 2022. And obviously, so far, he has spent the entirety of his playing career with Crystal Palace at the moment. But he's only 21 years of age. Of course, he's one of England's youngest upcoming prospects as well. But I do think, you know, obviously, he would be a good upgrade, you know, to Antonio Valencia. And I do think, you know, he's the type of player, you know, that would do very well at Manchester United, indeed, of course, as well. I think he's the type of player, you know, that would do really well, indeed. And I do think he'd be a perfect successor, you know, to Antonio Valencia, of course, because we do know that Valencia was on his way out of Manchester United, as we all know. This is Antonio Valencia's 10th season now at Manchester United, as we all know as well. He has made over 300 appearances in all competitions. He has won everything here domestically, of course, as well. But Valencia is on his way out of the club this summer, of course. Well, after we opted against that decision to give him that new 1-year contract extension, of course, as well. So Valencia's on his way out this summer. We do know other players are going to depart Manchester United this summer as well. So I do think we need about 4 players, at least this summer, of course, as well. But reportedly, one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's targets is Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, of course, as well. And he's very, very young, and Solskjaer, has been monitoring an interest, in quite a few young players, of course, because we have got a lot of experienced players, and they do seem to be the ones, that are caused us the problems, to be quite honest with you. And also, too, at right back, we've got Ashley Young as well. He's 33 years of age. I know he's won everything here domestically, of course. This is his 8th season now, I think, as a Manchester United player, of course. And, over the years, he has been essential, to be quite honest, because obviously by the time his 1 year extension expires, Ashley Young's obviously will be nearly 35 years of age, of course, as well. So potentially, I think Ashley Young, potentially, probably will leave, when that 1 year contract term expires, of course, as well. So potentially, I do think we need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side. So reportedly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has targeted Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, of course, as well. And it did say he's valued at around £40 million. So his name is being mentioned as well. Also, too, I think Solskjaer has identified, top 3 targets. Also, too, that's also being mentioned in the media as well. He's obviously, West Ham's Declan Rice. He's a potential Manchester United target reportedly as well. Again, he's young. He's one of England's youngest upcoming talents as well. He's Declan Rice. He's a West Ham player. He reportedly has had a good season with West Ham. Reportedly he's under contract with West Ham until 2024. He's Declan Rice, as we all know, as well. But his name's been identified. Reportedly, I think he can play as a centre-back, but I think he's mainly a holding midfielder, to quite honest. So I think he's more of a defensive midfielder, than the centre-back, to be quite honest with him as well. I do think we need a centre defensive mid, that's fast and tenacious, of course, as well. And obviously, he's only young, he's Declan Rice. He's only, 20 years of age, of course, well, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. But like I said, Fellaini left in January. We've got Matic as well. I think since he's recovered from injury, he's been very, very ineffective, indeed. I think his performances have been poor, to quite honest with you. Overall, Matic has improved as a Manchester United player, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in, but he's aging up. I've got reservations about him. He's static, he's slow, and all that as well. And he's lethargic, is the man you match. So I do think we need a centre defensive mid, that's quick and tenacious, of course, as well. But we have been linked with Declan Rice. We do know, I think the club's number 1 priority target is obviously, Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho, as we all know as well. Manchester United are heavily linked with a move for Jadon Sancho, of course, as well. We do know it could cost us quite a bit of money this summer. Manchester United could still end up paying a 9-figure sum of around £100 million to get Jadon Sancho. So this means it would make him, obviously, the most expensive English player of all time, of course, as well. Manchester United, do believe, we can still land him for around £80 million, but I do think we need someone on that right-hand side, someone that can play between the bylines, put crosses into the box as well. And Jadon Sancho's capable of doing it, and he's only not too long ago, just turned 19 years of age, of course. He's tenacious, he can score goals, he provides that width very, very well, and he's very, very young indeed, and he's had a good couple of years, with Borussia Dortmund, and his performances in Germany have been absolutely fantastic indeed. He's still got a contract, don't forget, with Borussia Dortmund until 2022, as we all know, as well. But Borussia Dortmund only paid £8 million for him Manchester City a couple of years ago as well, because obviously, he's a former Manchester City player, and of course, he never got guaranteed to play regularly in the first team with City, and this is the main reason he left City, and he went to, Borussia Dortmund, of course, as well. And Borussia Dortmund have been known, for doing business with their players, of course, as well. I think Manchester United officials, have, spoken, to Jadon Sancho's representatives, of course, as well. But obviously, Manchester United, are heavily linked to Jadon Sancho, and I think he's the club's number 1 priority target, to be quite honest. He only broke into the England first team last year, of course, as well. So he's the type of player, they are the type of players, that Manchester United, of course, should be targeting, because I think he'd dramatically improve us, to be quite honest here, as well. But I do really, really like, Jadon Sancho, to be quite honest with you, as well. So yeah, so reportedly it did say that trio. Reportedly they are Manchester United's top 3 targets. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Declan Rice. I think he's valued at around £40 million, like Aaron Wan-Bissaka as Declan Rice. And Jadon Sancho, of course, could cost Man United up to £100 million. So reportedly it did say in the press that trio could cost Manchester United in the total of around £170 million, reportedly, as well. And also too, Manchester United, have expressed an interest in Chelsea's Callum Hudson-Odoi, as we all know as well. And there has been a lot of talk about him going on. Probably our move will look jeopardy, for Callum Hudson-Odoi, this summer, because I don't think Chelsea want to lose Callum Hudson-Odoi this summer, of course, because obviously Chelsea have got a transfer ban, of course, and I think Chelsea tried to convince him, to sign a new contract, of course, as well. And again, only very, very young Callum Hudson-Odoi, only 18 years of age, of course, as well. Still got a lot of years ahead of him, but I think he's got strong reservations about his game time, with Chelsea, to quite honest, because I think he's yet to start a Premier League game this season, for Chelsea, to quite honest, but I think Chelsea have been in talks of getting him a new contract, with around £100,000 a week, reportedly as well. Callum Hudson-Odoi. So reportedly, his name's being mentioned in the media. Manchester United have expressed an interest in him, and obviously he's one of England's youngest upcoming talents as well. Obviously, it's Manchester United being interested. Liverpool have held negotiations, with Callum Hudson-Odoi's agent, and also too, it did, I think, say Borussia Dortmund have expressed an interest, but obviously, I think Bayern Munich, obviously, were heavily linked with him, back in January. It actually was Callum Hudson-Odoi was Bayern Munich's top priority, back in the January transfer window, of course, as well. Bayern Munich had a host of bids turned down by Chelsea. Bayern Munich, were willing to offer Callum Hudson-Odoi the number 10 shirt, of course, as well. But obviously, Chelsea were reluctant, to let him leave, back in the January transfer window, of course, well. But he still remains under contract with Chelsea at the moment till 2020. There has been no signs of him at the moment, coming to an agreement to sign a new contract with Chelsea as well. But reportedly, Manchester United have also expressed an interest in him. He can play as a winner. He can actually operate as a forward as well. So there has been talks about him, there has been talks about him, going on in the media as well. I think Bayern Munich are probably set to revive their interest in the player this summer, of course, as well. And other potential targets, that Manchester United, of course, have been interested in as well. We do know there's been talks about Bruno Fernandes, going on as well. The current Sporting Lisbon midfielder, as we all know as well, as they have been currently updating you about him, of course, as well. He's a Sporting Lisbon midfielder. He's 24 years of age. He's Portuguese, of course, as well. Reportedly, his performances have been impressive, for Sporting Lisbon, of course, as well. He is under contract with Sporting Lisbon till 2023, reportedly, as well. I think he's got a release clause of around £98 million, reportedly, in his Sporting Lisbon deal, reportedly, as well. He did actually spend the majority of his career, in Italy, because he used to play with Underneath, he played for Sampdoria, of course, as well. Reportedly, reports came out from Portugal, I think, last month, saying that Manchester United have held negotiations, with Bruno Fernandes' representatives over a summer transfer, of course, as well. And he's actually a central midfielder, is Bruno Fernandes, reportedly, as well. But Manchester United have also, showed an interest in him as well. So he's also, being mentioned in the media. We still know there's reports going out about Philippe Coutinho, as well, as we do keep hearing. I don't think, to be quite honest with you, he's one of Manchester United's priorities, even though we know the rumours do continue to persist about him, leaving Barcelona this summer, of course, as well. And reportedly, he's notified his teammates, as Philippe Coutinho, that he's considering, leaving Barcelona this summer, because he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Barcelona. He struggled to get regular game time with Barcelona, and he just hasn't fitted under Barcelona's system, to be quite honest with you, as well, as Philippe Coutinho. He just hasn't fitted under Barcelona's system. He's been there, nearly 15 months now, of course. And if Barcelona are to sell him, of course, this summer as well, obviously they're not going to recoup the initial £142 million they paid for him from Liverpool in January of last year, of course, as well. And obviously, we do know he's got a long contract with Barcelona, but he just hasn't played well at Barcelona. He hasn't been getting that game time he would have liked, so he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time in Spain. Obviously, he's the third most expensive player in world football at the moment as well, but he did have 5 good years with Liverpool, but since he's gone to Barcelona, he hasn't lived up to expectation levels, of course, as well, and he's been very, very disappointing indeed, and obviously he's failed to replicate the form that he did at Liverpool, of course, as well, Philippe Coutinho. But we still know there's reports going on about it, saying he's being linked to a move to Manchester United. Chelsea, reportedly Chelsea have showed an interest in him as well, but we do know back in January there was a narrative going on about that Man United had held negotiations, with Philippe Coutinho's representatives. He's mainly attacking mid. He can also actually operate as a winner as well, can Philippe Coutinho, but there has still been, talks going on about that as well. And we do know that we definitely, need a centre-back, we need someone, that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof in our squad as well, because obviously we know the future's uncertain of Eric Bailly, because Eric Bailly's been in and out of the team this season, even though he's got great potential. Phil Jones' future is still uncertain with the club as well, as we all know as well. And also too, I think Marcos Rojo is likely to depart Manchester United this summer, because his Manchester United career has been affected, injuries, you know, with the amount of injuries he's had as a Manchester United player, of course, as well. So Rojo's enjoyed a difficult time here as a Manchester United player, but we do need someone, you know, that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof, of course, as well. And there has been quite a few defenders, you know, Manchester United have been interested. We know Koulibaly. We do know how much of a great leader he would be in our back line. We do know that he looked very, very good alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. But I think our summer move for Koulibaly, you know, could be in jeopardy. As obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now is weighing up other alternative options. And obviously, I think, you know, according to what Ancelotti's currently said, that he insists that Koulibaly will not leave. This is what he said, and he insists that Koulibaly is not for sale. You know, recent reports did say Man United have been informed that Koulibaly, you know, could cost that Napoli reportedly want around £130 million for Koulibaly if they are willing to do any business this summer, of course. And we do know he's a great defender, shows that ability to attack, you know, shows that ability to play out from the back. His defensive capabilities are good. He's also good in the air. He's 27. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. You know, Man United have been long admirers of the player. We linked to him back in January. We had a host of bids turned down back in for him in January. You know, obviously, you know, we were linked to him last summer, of course, as well. And he's still got a contract, you know, with Napoli until 2023, as we all know, as well. And obviously, you know, he's been one of Man United's priorities, of course, as well. But I do really, really like him, and I think, you know, he would address our defensive deficiencies, you know, fantastically well. If we come to an agreement to get him in the summer, obviously it would make him our most expensive signing, of course, and obviously making the most expensive defender in world football, of course, as well. So I don't probably think now, you know, we'll get Koulibaly in the summer, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is focusing on more attacking additions to the squad, as we all know, as well. So there's a bit of rumours, you know, to update you on. Obviously, guys, as I've been updating you today, as well, you know, obviously, you know, we've been hearing about it since like last week, or something like that. You know, a lot of reports are going on about Paul Pogba, you know, potentially making the move to Real Madrid this summer, reportedly, as well. But reports have been coming out from Spain saying that reportedly Paul Pogba has made a decision, reportedly, on his Manchester United future, reportedly, as well. And reportedly, I think he intends to make the move to Real Madrid this summer. So I think he's pushing for the move to Real Madrid this summer. And obviously, you know, the recent things he has said about Real Madrid, and that saying it would be a dream to play for them and all that. He dreams, you know, playing for Zinedine Zidane at Real Madrid, does Paul Pogba. He did say it's one of the biggest clubs in the world and all that, and he's described them as a dream club. This could have concerns, you know, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. But reports do say that his agent Raiola is in the process of finding him a new club. His agent Raiola has had a couple of conversations with Real Madrid regarding a summer move for Paul Pogba, of course, as well. There has been talks that he could potentially, you know, make a return back to Italy, of course, as well, where he did have 4 good years with Juventus, of course, as well. But recent reports have indicated that Paul Pogba wants to leave Manchester United this summer. He did insist he's happy for now, but I don't think he's planning to intend the rest of his playing career in England, of course, as well. I think he's keen on playing for Real Madrid under Zinedine Zidane, of course, as well. And obviously, you know, Zinedine Zidane's obviously come out and said he likes Paul Pogba a lot. He admires Paul Pogba, and I think he suggested out with Zinedine Zidane, you know, that Paul Pogba, you know, will, you know, probably, you know, end up, you know, joining Real Madrid, of course. Well, it did say Real Madrid were preparing to put £125 million bidding for Paul Pogba, of course, but I think Paul Pogba's demanding a significant pay rise. I think he wants an annual wage of around 14 million if he is, you know, to actually join Real Madrid. And this aspect, you know, obviously, you know, would make him the highest paid player, of course, at Real Madrid, as well. Obviously, reports came out saying that Man United, obviously, you know, have been in contract negotiations. I think reportedly he turned down a contract offer from Manchester United as well. He's still under contract here till 2021, as we all know. So he's still got over 2 years left on his deal as Paul Pogba, of course. And we do know he's been one of our most influential players, of course, as well. We do know he's been We do know, guys, that sorry, guys, about that interference. He has been one of our most influential players here at Manchester United, as Paul Pogba, of course, as well. We do know he had a really, really bad game, you know, against Watford on Saturday, of course, as well. You know, yesterday he had a really, really bad game against Watford, and now obviously, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has reflected on the Watford game, and obviously now he's, you know, obviously planning, you know, to put Paul Pogba in a different role, of course, as well. So I think he's rotating Paul Pogba, and I do think he's putting Paul Pogba in defensive role, you know, to be quite honest, as well. So I think he's putting Paul Pogba in a deeper role. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I do think, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, wants to see another side of Paul Pogba's game, to be quite honest. But I think Manchester United have confirmed if any offers do come for Pogba this summer, you know, we will not let Paul Pogba go. So reportedly, if any offers do come, Manchester United, you know, will turn these offers down, of course, as well. So we do know there's been a lot of talk, you know, about that going on. But I think Pogba, you know, performs better, you know, when he's playing in more like of a free role, you know, to be quite honest, because I think he gets the freedom to express himself. He looks very, very good indeed, you know, does Paul Pogba, of course, as well. You know, his break spots to box are good. You know, he provides good service to the front line when he's playing in the free roll and all that. But he had a disappointing game against Watford, of course, to be quite honest. So I think he's going to get rotated. And I think he's going to be playing in more of a defensive role, to be quite honest. So obviously considering a tactical swift for Paul Pogba, of course, as well. And also, too, reports are coming out now about Ander Herrera. You know, there's quite a few reports now coming out about Ander Herrera. Guys, I do want to give you an update on them as well. So, reportedly now, reports are coming out saying that Ander Herrera is demanding a significant pay rise if he is to commit to a new contract at Manchester United. So, reportedly, he's demanding that he wants wages of around £200,000 a week, Ander Herrera, if he is to sign a new contract with Manchester United, reportedly, because currently, I think at the moment, he's on about £130,000 a week with Manchester United. So, I think he's demanding that he wants a £70,000 pound increase on his wage, £70,000 increase on his wages if he is to commit his future with Manchester United, of course, as well, because he comes to an end of his contract at the end of this season, of course, as well. And obviously, this is his fifth season now in the process with Manchester United, of course, is Ander Herrera's. And obviously, during his playing tenure at Manchester United at the moment, you know, he has had rough patches and all that, but since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coming, you know, he's been very, very good. Mainly, he's Ander Herrera. He's been fitting in that midfield trio very, very well. You know, he's a good ball playing midfielder. His defensive capabilities have been very, very good indeed, and you know, he's good at breaking up the play. Of course, well, we do know there's better out there, you know, than Ander Herrera, of course, as well. But there's been a lot of reports coming out saying that he's demanding £200,000 a week if he's to stay at Manchester United, and if he is to sign a new deal, of course, as well. Man United have been in talks of getting him a new deal, of course, as well. Reports have said, you know, obviously PSG have expressed an interest in Ander Herrera. It's also said that Arsenal have showed an interest in Ander Herrera as well. But PSG have reportedly showed an interest. Reports are coming out the other week saying that PSG are willing to offer him £150,000 a week plus a 3-year deal as well. Because obviously Thomas Tuchel's planning for investment in the Paris Saint-Germain team, of course, because obviously he's looking for someone, you know, to partner alongside Marco Verratti in midfield. And obviously, you know, it's looking like Adrien Rabiot is going to leave PSG at the end of the season, of course, as well. So obviously they've identified Ander Herrera as a good replacement, you know. As a good replacement, you know, for Adrien Rabiot, of course, as well. Recent reports did say he wanted to stay at Manchester United, you know, he was still keen on signing a contract extension, you know, some reports did say he was close, you know, to joining Paris Saint-Germain, of course, as well. But hopefully he can remain loyal to Manchester United, but now reports are saying that he's demanding that he wants around £200,000 a week, reportedly, as well. So potentially his future's up in the air at the moment, so possibly he could still leave Manchester United somehow. I don't think Man United are willing to give him £200,000 per week, of course. I think we are willing to, you know, increase his wages, but we're not willing to offer him £200,000 a week. Of course, I think his current wages at the moment are around £130,000 a week, Ander Herrera's, of course, as well. And as I did currently say, you know, there's still some contract renewals to sort out. You know, we did hear the good news, you know, obviously, you know, the other day in relation to Marcus Rashford. He's on the verge of signing a new 5-year deal, of course, with Manchester United as well. Obviously, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Marcus Rashford, you know, wants to commit his long-term future in Manchester United after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's appointment, and now after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's appointment, this has convinced Rashford to remain loyal to Manchester United. He wants to sign a new long-term deal, of course, as well. So he's set to snub Barcelona off. Obviously, there's been talks, you know, that Real Madrid have been interested in Rashford before as well. But he's set to sign a new 5-year deal worth £150,000 a week. So in the process, it means that obviously he will be the 5th highest paid player, of course, as well. But you know, obviously he's been playing a key role under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, his performances have really improved. Indeed, and he's still very young. He's got great talent, as we all know as well. And he does look very effective centrally. He is still under contract until 2020. You know, there's also, I think, an option of a further year as well. But overall, his performances under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have been fantastic. We do know he hasn't been playing to his potential best, you know, since, you know, he's recovered from that ankle injury, of course, as well, Marcus Rashford. But Man United have been in talks with his representatives, of course, and we are on the he's on the verge of signing a new 5-year deal with Manchester United, of course, as well, you know, which is very good news indeed. And obviously, he's Manchester born and bred, you know, being a United player since the age of 7. He's been in the senior squad with us since 2016, of course, as well as Marcus Rashford. So that's very good news indeed. Also, too, as we all currently know, in relation to David De Gea, of course, well, you know, we've still got to try and sort him out, a new contract, of course, as well. So there's still some contract renewals to sort out. But yeah, and I did say, players, will leave Manchester United in the summer, of course. I think Valencia is on his way out. Rojo could be on his way out. I think Darmian's likely to be on his way out of Manchester United this summer as well, after he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Manchester United. We do know that Sanchez is definitely, on his way out of the club, of course, as well, because Sanchez has enjoyed a very, very difficult time here as a Manchester United player. And, when he has been given the opportunity, he just looks so restricted. He just looks so he hasn't been getting that freedom. And he's been a very, very inconsistent player, for Manchester United. Sanchez, he's been here, just over a year. I think he's been here about 14, 15 months now, is it, or something like that. He's had quite a few injuries, of course, as Alexis Sanchez, as we all know, as well. And obviously it's going to be hard to find a buy for him this summer, considering his substantial wages he's currently on at Manchester United. So obviously it's going to be harder to find a buy, for Sanchez this summer. He obviously is the highest paid player in the Premier League, so Man United may consider loaning him out in the summer, or we may consider loaning him out in the summer, unless Sanchez is willing to take some kind of wage cut or something like that as well. So yeah, definitely players are going to leave Manchester United in the summer, to be quite honest with you, as well. But the big breaking news I wanted to give you guys an update on, was Wilfried Zaha. Reportedly, Manchester United are linked with a cut move for Wilfried Zaha. So reportedly, he's now rated at around £70 million is Wilfried Zaha, reportedly. But reportedly, Manchester United, can get him for a reasonable fee, reportedly, this summer, due to the clause, of course, as well, because Man United obviously have a clause in Wilfried Zaha's deal, which obviously means we get 25% of the profit of, obviously, what Crystal Palace get from selling him, of course, as well. So he's valued at around £70 million. But due to the clause, Manchester United can get Wilfried Zaha on the cheap, of course, as well. And, obviously since he permanently signed for Crystal Palace in 2015, he's done very, very well. He's playing more regularly in the team. His performances under Roy Hodgson at Palace, have been really, really good indeed to clients. So I know he failed when he was younger, when he had that 2-year spell at Old Trafford, of course. Well, that was actually Alex Ferguson's last signing, because obviously back in 2013 when we got Wilfried Zaha, that was the season, of course, Alex Ferguson retired, of course, as well. I think Wilfried Zaha's 26, isn't he? So he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be keen on reuniting with Wilfried Zaha, because obviously when Wilfried Zaha was on loan with Cardiff, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a manager then of Cardiff, of course, as well. So sorry guys about that again. So there has been a lot of talk, going on about that today in 23 games as well. He's mainly a forward, but I think he can operate on both wings as well. And that's one of the areas, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to strengthen up, of course, as well. So there's been a lot of talk, going on in the media today about Wilfried Zaha. Reportedly, we've got a clause in his deal. We get 25% of any profit of what, obviously, what Crystal Palace, get from selling him, of course, as well. So we get 25% of the profit, 25% cut of the profit, which is very, very good indeed. So there's been a lot of talk, about that going on. But as I did currently say, it was good to see, Manchester United, get back to winning ways against Watford, of course, as well. I give you my reflection on the game, I give you my analysis, and I thought it was a very, very poor performance in Manchester United. There was a lot of, bad individual performances as well. But the main thing is we got the win. We're keeping our top 4 ambitions alive, of course, as well. And it was good to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, get his first win in his first match as permanent Manchester United manager, of course, as well. It was good to see Rashford score and Anthony Martial score as well in that game. Obviously, we've got a tough game coming up on Tuesday night against Wolves away, of course. So we do know that the performance has to improve against Wolves, of course, as well. So I do want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to make some changes into the Wolves game. He'll obviously alter it a bit. I do want him to make a couple of changes. I want Ashley Young to be dropped. I want Diego Dalot, to play against Wolves, of course. Lindelof should be returning back to the team as well, because Lindelof didn't play against Watford, and mainly has been going Lindelof and Smalling. Hopefully Lukaku can be involved against Wolves as well, because most recently he's regained his position fantastically well in the team, and he's looked very, very good alongside Marcus Rashford, to be quite honest. But recently he's just had an ankle injury as Romelu Lukaku, as we all know as well. So hopefully he can be available. But the most disappointing, I was very, very disappointed against Watford. The midfield especially looked very, very ineffective. He looked very, very slow indeed. And to be quite honest with you, when we did have that injury crisis, especially in the midfield, I think when Solskjaer gave the Finch players a chance, Scott McTominay, you know, was very, very impressive when he was playing. You know, also to Andres Pereira was very, very impressive, you know, when he was playing as well. So I maybe would give Scott McTominay or Andres Pereira, you know, the chance on Tuesday against Wolves, of course, as well. But as I did say, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer definitely, you know, the right man for Manchester United without a shadow of a doubt. You know, and I do believe he can elevate this team forward. And obviously, his 3-year contract, 3-year deal, he's got his expectation levels. He's obviously, you know, to get the right signings in the summer, of course. Obviously, get Manchester United, you know, back to the powerhouse, you know, we was under Alex Ferguson, of course, as well. But obviously, the board, we've got a board that can invest, you know, who Solskjaer, you know, wants to bring to Manchester United this summer. He's been in regular contact with Ed Wood, you know, what players should come in, you know, what players should go in the summer. And I think Solskjaer's got a rough idea, you know, of what players, you know, he wants to get rid of in the summer, of course, as well. But obviously, we do know that a lot of money has been spent at Manchester United since Ferguson's retired. We do know we've had a lot of managers, you know, with different philosophies and all that. You know, we have spent a lot of money. We've spent about nearly £700 million all in all, you know, since Alex Ferguson's retired, of course, as well. But obviously now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. And now this is our fourth permanent manager since Alex Ferguson retired, of course, as well. But I think the Wolves Manchester United preview, you know, definitely, guys, will be coming up tomorrow, to be quite honest here, as well. Obviously, you know, Wolves lost, you know, to Burnley by 2 goals still, of course. But obviously, we do know that, obviously, it's still going to be a tough game. Wolves' record against the top teams this season is very, very impressive indeed. And obviously, you know, they're in the FA Cup semi-finals, so they will be thinking about that as well. You know, Wolves, you know, to be quite honest here, as well. But they've mainly had a good season. You know, Nuno Santo's done a pretty decent job, you know, with Wolves, of course, as well. You know, obviously, they came up to the Premier League, you know, last season. Well, I think, you know, obviously they was in Championship last season, but I think they came up to the Premier League, you know, this season. I think, you know, to be quite honest with you as well, you know, they did Wolves, but they have had a good season. You know, they did invest quite a bit of money last summer as well. You know, they did Wolves, of course, as well. But we can't have a repeat performance in this Wolves game on Tuesday, you know, like we showed in the FA Cup, of course, as well. But as Dick was saying, I want changes to be made in this Wolves game, of course, as well. Obviously, as I update you as well, Martial, of course, has got an injury. We don't know the extent of the injury just as yet, but he has suffered an injury, as Anthony Martial. Hopefully, it's not too severe. And obviously, I think it's some kind of knock he suffered, but hopefully, it's not too severe. And hopefully, he can be involved against Wolves on Tuesday night, of course, well. But obviously, you know, more things will update as we all. We do know that it's a reasonable fee. Again, guys. Sorry, it's just my internet, you know, that keeps going down. But as I did say, United have got a clause in Wilfred Zaha's deal. Of course, this means we will get 25% of the profit. Of course, you know what Palace get from selling him, of course, as well. But he's initially rated at around £70 million, of course, as well. But obviously, he failed in his 2 years at Manchester United, of course, as well, when he was here from 2013 to 2015. But he actually never broke into the first team, Wilfred Zaha, of course. But that was actually Alex Ferguson's last signing, of course, as well. But there has been a lot of talks about that going on today in the media. Of course, I wanted to give you an update on as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. I'm sorry about the couple of interferences, you know, obviously, you know, my internet going down, you know, quite a few times, which is very, very frustrating indeed. So as I did say, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe to my channel, as always, and take care.